Hey, welcome to YOUCANIC. In this video we have a 2016 Mercedes-Benz G-Class, a G63 AMG. We're going to take a look at this vehicle. We're going to see why that airbag light is on and what that check engine light is on. And then we're going to look at some of the control units on the car and some bidirectional tests and a few other things. So let's get started. So on the G-Class, you're going to connect your scanner right to the OBD2 port, and it's right under the dashboard all the way back there. So we have connected our YOUCANIC scanner. Now we're going to take a look at it. So we're going to select Diagnostic Smart VIN. That's going to pull a VIN number. You can also manually go and select, Mercedes and then G-Class and all that. We got two options here. Quick scan is going to go through all the control units. If you know which control unit you're troubleshooting, you can go to control modules, drive, and then enter it one by one. But it's a lot faster just to do a quick scan, and it'll go through all the control units that are on this car. Now this is a AMG version, so it's gonna be fully loaded. It's gonna have a lot of control units and a lot of systems, more than Mercedes usually has. So we expect this is probably gonna have over 40 plus control units. So let's give it a couple more minutes. So that finished, it's already at 25%, and it has found 13 control units and fault codes in some of them. So let's give it another minute or so. Okay, so our scan is complete, and then you can see this vehicle does have 40 control modules. Some of them have fault codes, so let's take a look at them. Why the check engine light is on is going to be under motor electronics. You can see a couple of fault codes. Efficiency of color converter is insufficient. Now you can see that that's a stored code. So is this other one, the boost pressure. What that means is we could clear those codes. The problem is that that's not going to fix that issue with the catalytic converter inefficiency is too low. Most likely that code will eventually come back again. Some codes, if it's going to say current, then you can't clear them at all. You have to fix that issue before you can clear the code, especially if there's open circuit fault codes and things of that nature, like a sensor shorted to ground or something like that. It's going to say current issue, and then even if you try to clear that, that's not going to work. But in this case, now you could enter any of these control modules, and I'll show you in just a minute. First, we just want to take a look at the codes though. SRS light, let's take a look. Yeah, as you can see here, stored and current. So these two codes, they won't clear without fixing that issue. Where we have the automatic child seat recognition sensor mat. So on the passenger side here, there is a sensor that detects if there's a child that's sitting on the passenger side, and if there is a child on the passenger side, it won't deploy the airbags even if you get an accident, because an airbag can actually injure a child. So there is a sensor there to detect whether you have a child or an adult on that seat. That sensor is defective, and you can't just clear that. You have to fix that issue before you can clear that code. The same thing, those two are both related, to kind of point to the same issue. And then we keep going. Fuel pump had low pressure at some point. That should clear. Signal acquisition module, SAM module, a couple of issues, low, nothing major there. And there's all these other control modules. They don't have fault codes, but you can enter any of them and look at live data. Some might have some bidirectional active tests, some don't. Let's go back. So yeah, let's go all the way to the bottom. Check all of them. Air conditioning system has an issue. There's stored, so this happened at some point in the past. So it's what you can do is, if you come down here to the bottom, you can click report, save the report, click report, and it just gives you a summary. Or you can hit erase, press yes, and it's going to go through all the control modules that have fault, and it's going to clear those codes, all the ones that can be cleared at least. Some might not clear because you don't fix that issue. And then the other thing is, you have to have the engine off but ignition on in order to do that. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, so it's going through the clearing process. As you can see here, these two did not clear, but the check engine light codes did clear. These two didn't clear because they're current. And now, without fixing the issue, as I said earlier, these two, the catalytic converter issue is probably going to come back anyway, but at least it got clear because it's in store status. If it was in a current present issue, it would have not cleared, as you can see here. Pretty much most of them cleared. So I want to show you though what you can do. You can enter any of these control modules and look at live data. So I entered in the transmission control, and then you can look at live data here from all these different temperatures and a lot of different things. There's just so many data that transmission is collecting. So you can see gear, oil temperature, speed sensors. This is speed sensors for the transmission sensors, gear change, drive temperature, starting procedure, if it's in limp mode or not. You can see there transmission is not in limp mode. Come back, codes. Let's enter motor electronics, for example. You can do live data here. There's a lot of data that you can see from here, and they're just grouped in different folders. So oxygen sensors, fuel sense, high fuel pressure control. Let's look at that. Rail pressure, that's a good one if you're doing some troubleshooting or you expect have some hard start issues and things like that. Anyway, so I'm not going to go through all of those. There's active test, throttle valve actuator. You can activate and deactivate that. I'm going to show, let's go to ESP. This is going to be your ABS and things of that nature. If you got ABS or ESP warning lights, there's no codes right now. We can look at live data. We can look at ABS wheel speed sensors, and if we drive the car, these values will start changing, and there's other things in there. But there's also active test here. So if you're trying to do an ABS bleed, you can come in here and then carry out this procedure. Press 1, turn that off. You can do that if you're trying to bleed your ABS lines. There's that test as well. So you can see here there's quite a few. You can enter any of these control modules. Even if they don't have full codes, you can still enter them and look at live data, and if that has any actuation in there, you can do those ISM. This is what controls your gears. So you can look at live data here, status of ISM, whether we're in limp mode or not. I want to look at active tests here. For example, we can switch the transmission to park, reverse, neutral, and drive, or we can make the transmission go into neutral, for example. We can click that, and then it's just giving us a warning telling us that if you do this, the car might roll away. So keep that in mind. All right. Yep. If you're in a hill or something like that, the car could roll away. So be very careful with that procedure. So as you can see, there's basically you can get into any of the control modules, and in some of them you can carry bidirectional tests or active tests. Some of them are not going to have active tests, but you can do it live data to that whatever control module you are entering. So from SAM, you can see relays and status of lights and things of that nature, and that's it. That's how you can run a health check on a Mercedes G-Class. And here we have a 2016 G63 AMG. Thank you for watching YOUCANIC, where you can be the mechanic.